Our story begins in the shadow of the crumbling Western Roman Empire, as the once mighty civilization faces its twilight. The year 476 AD marks the collapse of the Roman Empire, a world that had dominated Europe, Africa, and parts of Asia for over 500 years. Its fall led to what is often referred to as the Dark Ages, a period of social instability, shifting borders, and a struggle for control in Europe. But was it really a dark time? In many ways, it was a time of transformation, rebirth, and new beginnings. The fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Roman Empire, by the 5th century, was in rapid decline. From internal political corruption to external invasions by barbarian tribes, the empire was no longer the unassailable force it had once been. Barbarian invasions were the final blow. In 410 AD, Alaric I and his Visigoths sacked the city of Rome. 4 decades later, in 455 AD, the Vandals did the same. By 476 AD, the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic leader Odoacer, marking the formal end of the Western Roman Empire. The rise of the Byzantine Empire. While the Western Roman Empire fell, the Eastern Roman Empire continued to thrive. Known as the Byzantine Empire, its capital, Constantinople, became the heart of Roman civilization in the East. Under Emperor Justinian I, the Byzantine Empire would experience a renaissance of sorts, though the empire was constantly threatened by external enemies like the Persians and Slavs. Justinian's Code, a massive compilation of Roman laws, helped preserve Roman legal traditions for centuries to come. Justinian I's expansionist ambitions saw parts of North Africa, Italy, and Spain briefly fall under Byzantine control, but the Byzantine Empire's influence remained primarily concentrated in the Eastern Mediterranean. The rise of Islam. During this period, a new force emerged in the Middle East that would transform the landscape of the world. The Prophet Muhammad, born in Mecca in the 6th century, founded Islam. After his death in 632 AD, the religion quickly spread throughout the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. The Umayyad and Abbasid caliphates expanded rapidly, conquering vast areas from Spain to India. The Golden Age of Islam brought advancements in science, medicine, mathematics, and philosophy. Cities like Baghdad, Damascus, and Cordoba became centers of learning and culture, preserving the knowledge of the ancient Greeks and Romans while creating new innovations. The early Middle Ages in Europe. With the collapse of the Roman Empire, Europe descended into a fragmented and chaotic political landscape. The barbarian kingdoms that replaced the Romans were often at odds with each other, and the lack of centralized authority led to a period of economic regression. Pope Gregory I in the 6th century was instrumental in converting the Anglo-Saxons in Britain and spreading Christianity across Europe. The rise of feudalism created a new social order in Europe, with kings, lords, knights, and serfs forming the backbone of medieval society. The Viking invasions. In the late 8th century, the Vikings emerged as a new and terrifying force in Europe. Hailing from Scandinavia, these seafaring raiders struck terror into the heart of Europe. Their longships allowed them to raid and pillage coastal towns, monasteries, and villages across England, Ireland, France, and even parts of Russia. The Viking Age lasted from roughly the 8th century to the 11th century, and while their raids caused devastation, the Vikings also established trade routes, settled new lands, including Iceland and Greenland, and contributed to the cultural exchange between the East and West. Feudalism and the rise of monarchies. As the 9th and 10th centuries progressed, Europe began to stabilize under a new system known as feudalism. This system was based on a hierarchy of land ownership and loyalty. Kings granted land to lords, who in turn granted land to vassals, knights, while peasants, serfs, worked the land in exchange for protection. Feudalism helped maintain order and stability in a world marked by war and uncertainty. Powerful monarchs began to emerge, such as Charlemagne in France, who was crowned Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope in 800 AD. Charlemagne's empire united much of Western Europe and helped spread Christianity throughout the continent. The rise of the Holy Roman Empire. The idea of a unified Christian empire took shape during the reign of Charlemagne. After his death, the Holy Roman Empire was established in Central Europe, bringing together a loose confederation of territories under the authority of the emperor. Though this empire never achieved the same level of unity or power as the original Roman Empire, it became a central political entity in medieval Europe for centuries. The spread of Christianity. Christianity continued to spread throughout Europe during this period. Monasteries became centers of learning and preservation of knowledge, and the Catholic Church wielded significant influence over political and spiritual life. The Pope held power that rivaled kings and emperors, often acting as a mediator in conflicts and providing a sense of unity and stability across Europe. The end of the Dark Ages. By the end of the 10th century, the Dark Ages were beginning to give way to a new period of growth and renewal. As Viking raids slowed and feudalism became more entrenched, Europe began to develop a more stable political structure. The rise of the Crusades in the 11th century would also mark the beginning of religious wars in the name of Christianity, and soon the medieval world would experience the resurgence of trade, culture, and knowledge, leading to the beginning of the Renaissance in the following centuries. Conclusion. The 500 to 1000 AD period was one of immense transformation. It was a time of the fall of empires, the rise of new religions, and the birth of the medieval world that would shape the future of Europe, the Middle East, and beyond. The collapse of the Roman Empire left a vacuum that was filled by new forces: the Byzantines, the Muslims, the Vikings, and the Franks. The world was changing, and from the ashes of the old, new ideas, societies, and civilizations emerged. The foundation for the coming Renaissance in modern Europe was laid during this turbulent and transformative period.